This is something that shouldn't have happened, but it did. There have been many variations and accounts of this story, but I was there.
Hello? Ronnie?
Yeah, I've been meaning to call you.
We came up with this idea. We're gonna bring out 5 sets of drums and 5 drummers. Have ourselves a little drum off.
What's going on?
I gotta go to Atlanta, baby.
Atlanta?
Yeah, trying out for Skinner.
Being the drummer of Lynyrd Skynyrd every day on the road was a hilarious adventure. We knew these songs backwards and forwards so well that we only had to think about how hard we wanted to hit it.
I'm the co-pilot. All I've ever dreamed of doing is flying a big rig with rock stars. After this, I'll be able to die a happy man.
All right.
Not what was coming next.
We need an airport. We are running low on fuel and just about out of it.
Ronnie, what are you doing?
Love you guys.
It didn't feel like the end of the world at the time. It felt like we're gonna go on. We're gonna be survivors. This is more than a story about the plane crash. It's about the music of Lynyrd Skynyrd, the greatest Southern rock band of all time.
What's up, Jared?
Representing the Leonard Skinner. What's up, man? Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. I love the film, and I'm a big fan of the music, and I was just intrigued. So thanks for joining me today. Greetings from Las Vegas.
Yeah, greetings from Los Angeles. I was just in Vegas. Good to see it coming back to life.
Oh yeah, we just did phase 2, and things are popping. I mean, I can't believe we're sold out 2 weekends in a row. So yeah, it's real encouraging. I'm a native, so I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, Vegas is popping, and I was at the Cosmo, and yeah, everybody was there, gambling, smoking cigarettes, the whole nine. So you saw the film? You saw the link, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
okay.
Here's what's really weird. When I was 12 years old, I saw this movie I just fell in love with called Who's Killing the Great Chefs of Europe? It's a murder mystery with George Segal. It's a comedy. But before the film, they showed a short film about Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is 1978. And in order for me to see my favorite movie at the time, I had to sit through this short film every time I saw the feature.
Oh
And it was like, I guess it was a movie they made right before the crash. You know, it was something that Pepsi was doing, but it got a theatrical release. It was in a bunch of theaters nationwide. So I've always in the back of my mind, I've been a Lynyrd Skynyrd fan because of that short film. I'm like, who are these people? Who are these guys, right? And so I was really intrigued to see finally the story of what really happened, because it's just been kind of, a rock and roll haze, for history.
Yeah.
So tell me about casting the band, and did they have to do their homework?
Yes. Well, on the initial rounds, not so much, but they did. Some of them did. One of our lead singer, he came in and he actually, unprompted, he asked if he could sing "Simple Man," and I was like, "Yeah, I mean, sure, go ahead." And he sung a really good "Simple Man," and we, in terms of casting, but once we sort of decided we're leaning toward these people, we made them do homework. We gave them homework assignments, and that was to learn their instruments, lose some weight in some instances, gain some weight in some instances. I was trying to go as legitimate as possible. And luckily we had Artemis Pyle, the real, obviously the real guy, teaching our lead actor how to play the drums and make it at least look realistic. You know, if we had more time, more money, blah blah blah, then of course, you know, I'd love to give him lessons for months and this and that, like La La Land style. But
And getting Artemis Pyle involved, I understand it was 22 hours of interviews, and the script came out of all his conversations, a lot of it.
yeah. So yeah, the 22. It was 22 hours face to hours. It was probably closer to 100 plus hours. But yes, we initially met for 3 days consecutively, just me just interrogating him. No, not interrogating, but just asking and talking. And this is when I had read some of the books, and I mean, there's a lot. A lot of the survivors sort of wrote a book, Ron Eckerman, and just there's a lot of material out there. So it started to come to the point where I was hearing one side that was contradicting this other thing. So I was trying to get to the bottom of these little things. But ultimately, this is Artemis's story. So I leaned in his favor, because he was on the plane. You can
I was gonna say, because this is a musical biopic, but it has some serious horrific scenes in it. It's a tragic story.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people died. They got terribly injured. It's a tragedy. One of rock and roll's, top tragedies. Plane crash.
And you shot this film for like 1.5 million. That was your budget, but you really made the most out of it, because you had to put it in a period, the 70s. You had to. It just looks like you spent a lot more on this. So I guess you have to give credit to a lot of your production designers, and because it looks like a $20 million film.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot.
Is 20 a lot? I don't know.
No, that means a lot. It
Okay.
means a lot coming from you. You've seen a lot of films. Yeah, I mean, as a filmmaker, you try to stretch every dollar and put it on screen, and for me, it looked big. I was very happily impressed with our production designer, wardrobe, and cast, and we were able to source planes. So it came together, and it definitely, I feel, looks bigger than what we spent on it. Thank God.
And your film, yeah, and your film almost didn't see the light of day. There was a long legal struggle, and just everybody has their own ambitions and their own. So it sounds like a nightmare to get to this point finally.
It was a nightmare. It really, I mean, there were lawsuits, and I had to give a deposition, and they were spending millions of dollars trying to stop this film from coming out. It was crazy. I mean, there was a court case in federal court in New York that we lost, and I was devastated, because this was after we finished filming. And then they banned the film. The film was legitimately illegal to show. They wanted us to destroy all the hard drives and this and that. We appealed, with the First Amendment rights, and I mean, this was all drawn out over months. So I was so anxious. I was so I went through this spiral of anxiety, and then finally we appeal, and it's not like these things happen the answer. It's very drawn out, the legal process. So this is over the course of over a year, and then we win the appeal, which is it was like the greatest day of my life, because finally it's 3 years after making this film, it's okay, yeah, your film can come out because of the First Amendment rights. The guy's he's allowed to tell his life story. And then I was like, thank God, because I do a lot of lower budget kind of genre stuff, but this was a passion project. So
I can't imagine, even if you were ordered to destroy it, that you would let it all be destroyed. You would have a copy somewhere. I mean, I can't imagine that.
I mean, I had I was always, to be able to destroy all that footage. That would have been insane. I mean, my God, that. I couldn't have even imagined just throwing hard drives into a fire,
Well, the opposite happened, and you have a privilege that I've talked to a lot of filmmakers over the past few months. You have the privilege of having a premiere and a red carpet before the pandemic hit. Because a lot of filmmakers never saw their films with an audience. So tell me about the premiere you had for the movie.
And yeah, we had the premiere. Red carpet, all the cast, sold out 2 screenings, which was incredible. We won the best cinematographer and the best picture award, so it was great. And then all the other festivals, that we were in contention for got canceled. So it just timed out like really in a good way. So yeah, everybody got to see the film. We had the event. It was really nice. Good to see everybody. And yeah, so that happened.
And you have no music from the band in the film, so I assume it's because you couldn't get permission, considering your journey. But
well, we have Call Me the Breeze. We have Call Me the Breeze, which it was written by J.J. Cale, but the song was made very famous by Leonard Skinner. So I will always, anytime. So technically, is it a Leonard Skinner song? I would argue to some extent, because if you ask the majority of people, they go, "Oh yeah, Call Me the Breeze, Leonard Skinner." But people that are, a bit more, that know J.J. Cale and his work, his great, writing, they would argue it's a J.J. Cale song, and technically, I think it sort of falls in the middle.
And you got 3 new songs, including Street Survivor.
And we had Artemis Pyle, Pat Travers singing, and so I mean the company Cleopatra, they're one of the biggest independent record labels since 1992, so they have access to all these great musicians, and their music was on the soundtrack. So it's a very rich soundtrack with well-known musicians. But yes, in terms of getting like Sweet Home Alabama and all the hits, they were the estate was very. I mean, I would have loved to have Freebird and Simple
Even
Man.
if you did, you probably pay more than what the budget of your film is just to use those songs.
Oh, they basically told Universal, I think, or Warner's, who has the no, if these guys want the music, it's gonna be millions of dollars. So it would have never happened. We tried to work with them. I really put my hat in my hand and approached them and said, look, we're making this film. And they were instant, and their reaction wasn't like, cool, how can we help? Their reaction was, okay, let's sue you.
Here's our attorney, yeah.
Yeah, talk to our lawyer, and yeah.
So tell me about the first time Artemis saw the film. I understood he watched it alone a couple times before giving you his reaction, or?
Yeah, he watched it, and he calls me, and he's like, I saw it 4 times, and I cried, and this was really emotional, and that just really made me feel like I did the story, some justice. It's weird because this is the first time I'm telling a true story, as opposed to hey, here's a script about whatever, go shoot it. So there's a
dramatic license, I assume, when you have a movie because you're not doing a documentary, you're doing a biopic.
Yeah, exactly. So you sort of have to truncate some events and take a little bit of creative license to make a good movie, because a good true event it still has to be written in a good entertaining movie way. So you have a responsibility to the truth, and you also have a responsibility to the production company that's hiring you, and then as well as the audience. You don't want them to walk out and be like, well, this may have been historically accurate, but it's boring. So,
well, it's you're finally getting a video on demand release, and Street Survivors, True Story of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Tell where people can watch your film.
Yeah, it's gonna come out. It should be on Amazon and iTunes, and sort of all the VOD platforms, physical. I think Walmart got an order. So it's going to be hitting. It'll be hitting all. It's not going to be on Netflix. Maybe later down the road if they pick it up, but it'll be available. Just with the search on June 30th. If you have Apple TV, Roku, whatever, just go online.
Everywhere. Yeah, good for you. It's everywhere.
It'll hit all the major VOD.
Well, after your struggle, you deserve it, Jared. You really do. I mean, what a great story, and your persistence and dedication, and you finally got a release. So that's really cool. So thanks so much for talking to me today, and come visit us in Las Vegas, man. We're open. We need you.
I was just there. I love it.
Come back.
I'm coming back. I'm coming for the. I'm coming. I broke even, but I wanna come out on top.
We'll come back in a few weeks when there's more major casinos opening in July. So come back in a few weeks.
Definitely. I appreciate you having me on.
My pleasure, man. Good luck with the film. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.